This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We're honored to continue and share the teachings of the founding father of science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We're honored to continue and share the teachings of the founding father of science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We're honored to continue and share the teachings of the founding father of science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. Let's go ahead and open up that waiting room and let's get this party rolling. Folks, have you been watching the news? There's actually some really good stuff going on. Well, today here on Daily with Doc, we are going to be welcoming one of our honored guests who I totally trust, and I know the audience trusts him too, Pharmacist Fuchs. So he's a registered pharmacist, nutritional formulator, nationally recognized educator who has spent decades helping people understand how the body truly works and how nutrition plays a central role in health, resilience, and healing. Well, you know, in a world where we are just overwhelmed, and it's getting more and more overwhelming. Oh, goodness. Engineered, packaged, and processed foods, folks. Well, Pharmacist Ben has a unique ability to translate complex science into practical, empowering insight. And today, he's going to join us in just a few minutes and help us to understand why we need to relearn how to eat in the age of ultra processing. What's changed, why it matters, and how everyday people like you and I can make choices without fear. Now, if you were invited to this program by somebody specific, we want to make sure that you get back with them. They took the time, cared enough about you to share this program with you. So care enough about them to say thank you. And if you have any questions or want more information about what you hear about today, they're going to be your first point of contact, because we are a resource for an absolutely amazing community of health coaches. My name is Becca Dukes. As a certified holistic health coach myself, I'm also a certified naturopathic practitioner and the director of student services for the Institute of Holistic Health. where we teach about all 4 areas of physical health and beyond, how they're affected by nutritional deficiencies and solutions, because we're empowered individuals, folks. We're not chemical deficient, we're nutrient deficient, and we have found some solutions that have been helping people around the world for over 3 decades officially, even longer than that, by Doc himself. So, folks, help me. Let's see. We're not going to introduce him yet, but AJ, I would like you to do a screen share, if you would, please. I know you took a bunch of resources, you put together this amazing little video that goes on about the food fight and what big cities are doing about big food. AJ? Maybe? Did we lose AJ? And AJ. Did we lose AJ? I think we lost AJ. Oh my goodness. Well, we're gonna, I guess, not do that right this second, but we do have the man of the hour, Pharmacist Ben Fuchs. Now, Pharmacist Ben, how come I can't add you to the screen? Are you able to turn your camera on?
How do I look?
Your camera is on. Okay, hold on. There we go. Hi. How are you?
Hey, nice to see you. Sorry for the technical difficulties.
Well, that's okay, because we're just kind of rolling on them. We lost AJ. He was going to
All right.
share a very cool video with us where
Oh,
we're
no.
talking about today relearning how to eat in the age of ultra processed food, Pharmacist Ben.
Okay.
Now,
You sent me that article on the San Francisco, or maybe it was the state of California Attorney General. I don't know if it was the local Attorney General or San
San
Francisco.
Francisco's government
Yeah, and
is
I got kind of
shutting
ticked
down.
off about. I got kind of bothered by that.
Why?
Because I don't want the government to tell me what I can eat, what I can't eat. I don't want them controlling the food supply. We should be, look, if you want to eat crappy food, eat crappy food. This isn't a message. Food is a very interesting issue, Rebecca. And I talk to people about food all the time, as you know, right? Guess what, Rebecca? Have you ever tried to talk to somebody about their French fries while they're eating their French fries? How well did that go over? Right? Did
I
they
don't
say,
like
did anybody ever say to you, Rebecca, you know what? You're right. I'm going to throw the rest of these French fries out. Has anybody ever said that to you or whatever it was? No, nobody
no,
ever says that. When
no,
people
no.
want to eat, people want to eat what they want to eat. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I have been in places where people around me have gotten French fries, and I was like, "Oh, taste." I'm like, "I'm not a really big French fry fan," and
Right.
then
You don't,
they talk me into it, and then all I can taste is dirty
we're
grease.
not talking about you. We're talking about people who eat French fries. They should eat French fries. That's their right to do. And to have the government tax things and, try to get involved in our food supply and what we should eat, we should be responsible enough to know how to eat. If you have a health challenge, you should recognize, not should, but you could recognize that the most powerful control point for the determination of your health or lack thereof is what you put in your blood. There's no getting around that. Period. Now, you can inject things, and we always talk about the problems with injecting things, but for the most part, well, how do things get into the blood? They say you are what you eat, but it's not quite like that. You are what your blood is. You get that? It's not like
Yep.
you are what you eat. It's
Yep.
you are what your blood is. And that really is the nexus. That's the point of everything we talk about, even though we don't talk about it. I mean, I talk about it a little bit on these videos, but for the most part, as a culture, we don't talk about the relationship between the blood and health. We dance around it a little bit, like we'll talk about cardiovascular disease and cholesterol deposits and blockages and edema and such, but we don't talk about the exact connection between how the blood shows up and how the body shows up. It's all about the blood. Period. Period. from a physical perspective. Even from a psychological perspective, as you think, your blood changes. It's always going to be about the blood. And when the Bible says the life of the flesh is in the blood, it's not talking hyperbolically or poetically or rhetorically. It's literal. We are our blood, and our blood is our food, right? How does the blood get created? From what you put inside your digestion. So you eat, it turns to blood, it turns to you, for better or worse. And that's the problem with, that's why foods are so important. But to tell somebody how to eat, it just doesn't work, because we're so vested in foods. We like our foods. We're conditioned to eat our foods. And it sounds kind of like guilty things, like eat your vegetables and your mother talking to you. And nobody wants that. And I'm very, very, very hesitant to go there with people. If somebody's sick now and wants some help, then I go do that. But to talk about, don't you eat that? It's just, I feel uncomfortable with that.
But forget about the don't eat this, don't eat that. What about educating, which you do best?
I do. So
effects
good. Yes.
that these things have on the body.
I think they should be self-evident, but let's ride with that.
They're
okay?
not.
Okay. So let's ride with that. For the last 150 years, or over the last 150 years, maybe let's say 130 years, we've completely changed our food supply. The foods that existed at the turn of the 20th century are no longer here. But our bodies are millions of years old. So you've got these bodies that evolved with certain food requirements. And by food requirements, I'm talking about macronutrients, protein, fats, carbs, fiber and water perhaps, and micronutrients, the essential nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, the aminos, and the fatty acids. And over the last 100 years, in a 2 million year old body, everything's changed. So if you have a 24-hour clock, and that 24-hour clock represents the 2 million years that human beings have been on the planet, or our relatives or our ancestors have been on the planet, we've changed the food supply at 1 second to midnight. How can you not have an impact? You have a body that grew up over the course of 24 hours or 23 hours and 59 minutes and 59 seconds with one way of eating, one way of building itself up, and then 1 second before midnight, you completely change the system. How can you not have a problem? Of course you're going to have a problem. We're the first humans in history, in the 2 million year old history of humankind, to eat diets that are largely 90% plus or 99% industrially manufactured. Listen to what I said, industrially manufactured in factories, not in the ground, not by animals, in factories. Ultra processed food, what we call Frankenfood, foods that are cobbled together from stuff that's not food. That's what a Frankenfood is, or an ultra processed food. It's cobbled together from stuff that's not food. Even if you have a hamburger and it's cobbled together with meat bits and meat glue and whatever they put in the hamburger, at least it's got something in there that resembles food. Ultra processed food has nothing. It didn't have food. None of the components are food. They're not junk food. They're engineered, and they're engineered metabolic disruptors. And this isn't really a willpower issue. It's a hijacking, a biochemical hijacking. Our biochemistry, particularly our brain chemistry, but really all of our biochemistry, has been hijacked. Our cravings for foods are not flaws. They're not character flaws. They're physiologic responses that are being manipulated by people who have PhDs in that manipulation. They're geniuses at manipulating us. Google the Manella Institute in Philadelphia, which is funded by the drug companies and the food companies, where they have PhDs literally looking for molecules that what they can put in their potato chips or in their whatever chips that will keep you from not being able that will prevent you from stopping. You'll have to keep eating. An ultra processed food. You can't eat just one, right? An ultra processed food is formulated from industrial ingredients, refined sugar, seed oils, flavor enhancers, emulsifiers, dyes, surfactants, with very little real food. Even if they have protein in them, sometimes you see these protein bars. Or have you noticed how there's all these protein products out now? Why is that? Because they figured out how to extract proteins from all kinds of foods. They've got these high-tech chemical extraction processes now that make proteins, particularly from legumes, really cheap. So you see these candy bars with proteins, Pop-Tarts with proteins, bagels with protein in them, as if protein was the end all and be all, but the proteins that you're eating don't come with all the cofactors that help you process the proteins. So yeah, there's so many ways where it's a problem. You wrote a whole book on metabolic syndrome and metabolic damage, metabolic syndrome, obesity, and insulin resistance and oxidative stresses. All of these, diabetes, liver disease, all of these come hand in hand with ultra processed foods. Ultra processed foods disrupt our satiety hormones. We have hormones that tell us when to stop eating. Ultra processed foods go under the radar. They don't activate leptin or ghrelin, these satiety hormones, and they drive our blood sugar up. And they cause these what are called hunger loops, where your blood sugar goes up, then insulin comes out, drops the blood sugar, and your low blood sugar, so you go out and get more sugar to raise your blood sugar as you feel jittery. And along the way, your stress hormone goes up because your stress hormone picks up the slack when you're hypoglycemic. Then you've got this disaster with seed oils. It's an utter and complete disaster for the human body. Fried processed oils. Almost every single junk food you can name has some aspect of processed oils or refined oils or distorted oils. Even bread, grains have oil in them. So even white bread has processed oils. Not a lot, perhaps, but enough that they have to put antioxidants in the bread. White bread, if you look at the ingredient deck on white bread, you'll see something called BHT or propyl gallate, perhaps, which these are antioxidants, or BHA. These are antioxidants that keep the fats from going more rancid. They're already rancid, but it keeps them from going more rancid so the bread doesn't turn brown. And then we haven't even touched the microbiome. Now you got to deal with the whole microbiome issue. You're not getting fiber, so you're starving your beneficial, the good bacteria. You've got additives that are they're changing the composition of the microbes. You got fluoride and chlorine, and forget from tap water, from soda, or from even orange juice. You got fluoride and chlorine. Do you know when you drink orange juice, you're drinking fluoride and chlorine too? Because that's how they water the oranges. And the more disrupted the bacteria are, the more endotoxins. This idea of endotoxins, even though we touch on it, we talk about the triangle of disease, this is extremely important to understand, particularly for women who are dealing with reproductive issues or menstrual issues. The idea of something called LPSs, lipopolysaccharides, which are little pieces of bacteria that get into the bloodstream through a leaky gut. And by the way, changes in bacteria will change the way you eat, because bacteria crave certain foods, and their demands for foods will be misperceived as our demands, and they're really the demands for food for the bacteria that want sugar, for example. And that doesn't even touch the brain effects. You've got dopamine issues. Ultra processed foods stimulate dopamine. They turn it on without giving you nutrition. They create this sense of reward, and you can sense this yourself. The next time you eat a food that you don't, that you find delicious but may not be really good for you, notice that as you're eating the food, you're feeling really good about life. And then when that food disappears, there's your problems again. So it's very easy to go back into the food. And that's another thing. We don't eat like lions and tigers and bears. We don't eat we don't just eat when we're hungry. In fact, I would venture to say it's relatively infrequent that we eat because we're hungry. What do you think, Rebecca? I'd say most of our eating is not from hunger.
Majority.
The
Yeah,
majority is not
majority
hunger, right? Right. Next time you're hungry, really hungry, try going the whole day without food, and it's dinner time, and you're really, really hungry. Watch how little food it takes to actually satisfy you. Within 2 or 3 bites, you're probably satisfied, and then we continue eating, of course. And everything we eat after a certain point represents work for the body. And that work for the body is not only going to put a burden on the body, stress on the body, but it's going to burn through precious nutrients, which we should be getting from food, that we're not getting from food. So there's so many different ways that these ultra processed food affect us, but you can't just say don't eat it. It doesn't work that way. But what you can do, Rebecca, is you can use nutrition. And this is one of the supplements aren't going to make your junk food healthy, but they will mitigate the harm. They will stabilize your metabolism so you're not as hungry, and they can help you transition away. And one of the things we find when people supplement with Beyond Tangy Tangerine, I know you've heard it too, is people don't eat as much. So when you start adding micronutrition, you're going to find that you're less hungry, right?
Oh,
Stabilizing blood sugar, chromium, vanadium, cinnamon, gymnia. These are magnesium. These are nutrients that will help stabilize your blood sugar to reduce your cravings, give you more energy, and also help you control your appetite. And then, of course, nutrients are ultra processed foods are mineral depleting. So using your plant-derived minerals is going to help you restore your minerals. Minerals regulate blood sugar, insulin, nerves, the digestive process, the stress response. Deficiencies in minerals will make you more hungry, make you more irritable, disrupt your sleep patterns, disrupt your ability to cognate, your cognitive, accelerate cognitive decline. I remember my dad was in the nursing home and he had Alzheimer's pretty bad. And, you know, I don't know if you ever see what they feed you in nursing homes, but it's like sponge cake and applesauce and juices and
Jello.
soda pop, you know, Jello, right? So I would sneak in beyond Tangy Tangerine to the nursing home. And I could watch him like almost like a plant that you water when you've been on vacation. You can kind of see the plant start to bloom right in front of your eyes. I would watch him in front of my eyes. And as soon as I left, they took his Beyond Tangy Tangerine away, but I'd bring it back. And for people out there who have folks in nursing homes, if you have friends and relatives or friends or in nursing homes or they're older, experiencing cognitive decline, the best Christmas gift you can give anybody is Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Any of these folks is Beyond Tangy Tangerine. You'll change their lives. And then, of course, there's the fats. You know, while the processed fats, the heated fats, the distorted fats are problematic, one of the reasons they're problematic is because they replace the good fats. So your cells, which contain fats in the membrane, and the membrane is always, I think we talked about this last week, talked about it maybe on Monday, the membrane is the most important part of anything. The membrane is the barrier, the separating point between this and that. It's a transition. In terms of cell membranes transition from outside the cell to inside the cell, and they're loaded with fats. Within the cell itself, inside the cell, you have even more by surface area, you have even more membranes inside the cell than on the outside the cell. The mitochondria, which everybody talks about these days, and you have tens of thousands, sometimes maybe 100,000 mitochondria inside a cell, has almost an infinite amount of surface area with membranes. It's so microscopic, but it's just wrapped around like a almost like a roller coaster, like this. It goes up and down and up and down and up and down, and this is how we make energy, and that's all membrane driven. And then you have membranes inside other structures like the endoplasmic reticulum, which is like a network where things would travel through the cell, and the Golgi apparatus where things are manufactured. All these are membranes. So what makes membranes distinct? What is the most distinguishing quality of a membrane? The fats. And if you're eating distorted fats, you're going to have distorted membranes, not just distorted cellular membranes, but yes, those, but within the cell. And distorted oils that distort membranes will not only change functionality, but they can lead to genetic changes that are associated with cancers. In fact, one of the major causes for mutations in cancers are these distorted fats. So using the good fats will allow the body to use the good fats instead of the crappy fats. But when you don't have the good fats, the essential fatty acids, largely, your body will make do with with what it has, which is the distorted fats. So the more French fries or fried fats or distorted fats or processed fats you're eating, the more you need essential fatty acids as well as fatty vitamins, particularly vitamin E. And then there's the barrier, the intestinal barrier. And as you know, we talk about this all the time. This is that's where everything gets into the blood. The barrier is a major source of inflammatory attack by these processed fats, not to mention lack of nutrition. And once your intestinal barrier is damaged, you're not going to absorb your nutrients. These are all from processed and ultra processed foods. You ask what the problem is. I mean, you can see it's nearly endless, the problems associated with them. And then the more calories you're ingesting from ultra processed foods, the less likely you're going to be to get quality macronutrients, particularly protein, which is the hardest of all of the nutrients for us to obtain and the most expensive nutrient for us to obtain. And the lack of protein is going to increase cravings because protein is responsible for the production of satiety, satisfaction hormones. And then there's the neurotransmitters, amino acids like glycine and glutamine are associated with brain health, neurotransmitters. Processed food will reduce our ability to use dopamine in a positive sense. So you end up with dopamine issues. So supplementing is your best strat to me. There's willpower. Willpower is very difficult, but supplementing is your best strategy, not just with the Mighty 90. Yes, the Mighty 90 is also important, but your TMR shake, which is protein as well as good fats. The TMR shake, I don't know if you've ever had it. If you want a snack and you want something delicious, you get yourself some TMR shake, a banana, and either coconut or cashew milk, 4 ingredients, or almond milk, 4 ingredients, milk, water, salt, and vanilla. It's 4 ingredients, still processed, by the way, but it's very tasty and certainly better for you than soda pop or fruit juice. And a banana. If you want a little stevia, you don't even really need it. You throw the TMR shake in there. Oh my God, is that the most delicious thing you ever had? Have you had that, Rebecca?
I have had it. Now,
TMR shake. It's absolutely amazing. Yes,
I
go ahead. I'm sorry.
use flax milk. Is that wrong?
It depends. You got flax is very high oil, but
Mhm.
it depends on the flax. I haven't seen
So
flax milk. Look at the ingredients. It
yeah,
depends on.
flax milk. It's got 1,200 milligrams of omega-3s.
Oh, by the way, milk comes from mammals, right?
Mhm.
The purpose of milk is to grow a little baby mammal and turn it into an adult mammal. That's the purpose of milk. Well, as far as I know, there's no little baby flaxes, and there's no little baby coconuts, and there's no little baby almonds, and they don't need milk, so they don't make
Or
milk.
cashew.
Or cashews. We call them milk. It's
Right.
really water with flax. So you know what? You can make your own flax milk or cashew milk or almond milk by taking almonds and soaking them and then grinding them up, or cashews or flax or any of the other stuff, and make your own flax milk and almond milk or whatever it is. Bottom line is ultra processed food is a major, major, major biologic stressor, but it's not our fault in the sense it's not like a moral failing and you can't rag on people to change their minds. Our biochemistry is being hacked. And not only our biochemistry, but our psychology is being hacked. And at a young age. That was the great discovery of Happy Meals. The great discovery of Happy Meals was that if you get a little kid to love McDonald's when he's 5, for the rest of his life, he's going to associate McDonald's with childhood, with all the happy experiences of childhood. And that was their discovery. And that was, from a marketing standpoint, is one of the most brilliant discoveries ever made, is that you can get kids to become a lifetime customer by getting them conditioned and programmed to associate your food with good times at a young age. Even the wrapping on the hamburger is designed to make you think it's Christmas. And the next time you get your McDonald's hamburger, do it, unwrap it very slowly and feel the dopamine, anticipation, excitement. Just feel it. We do it really fast so we don't feel it, but stop and do it slowly. And as you're unwrapping it, the sound, that crinkly sound, as the yellow wrapping is exposing that whatever burger, whatever you want to call it, feel the joy and the anticipation that's coming up. And if you don't really stop and feel it, it's happening anyway. You're just not noticing it. It's subconscious. It's subliminal. You're not aware of it. But if you notice it, you'll feel like, wow, there's a sense of joy that's involved. And if you're feeling it as an adult, your kids are feeling it 10 times more as kids, because they're hardwired to have anticipation and joy much more than we are. We're already jaded. The little kids are not. So to them, this is like literally the most joyful day of the year. It's like Christmas when they're unwrapping their Happy Meal or their burger. And the sound itself of the crinkling paper is designed to elicit good feelings. So it's not just our biologies and our biochemistry that's being hacked into, it's our psychologies. And this is why I always say, when you're driving by, you want to give those people the finger. You want to drive past, not drive through. They are not your friends. They are manipulating us and pulling our strings, oblivious to the cancer and the heart disease and the autoimmune disease and the cognitive decline and the Alzheimer's and the misery and the health loss. They could care less about it as long as they're selling you the burger, and they're not our friends, and we have to regard it as such. And we don't need to have the government tax us and the government tell us and the government order us and anybody to rag on us. We should naturally be so ticked off that we don't want to have anything to do with McDonald's. And I always pick on McDonald's. You know, they're an easy target to pick on, but it's not just McDonald's, it's Applebee's. You know, try getting some chicken wings at Applebee's and look what you get. You know, it's not even identifiable as food. So anyway, I don't like ragging on people about food. I don't like talking too much about it. And I know, you know, to me, it seems intuitive that the stuff would be lousy for you. But if you want to know the reason, almost every bad thing you can name can be associated with ingestion of processed food. And if you think, oh, I'm just going to have a treat, you know, I'm not going to eat this. I don't eat this all the time. I just treat myself. You've immediately fallen into the trap of these things are good and carrots and peas are bad. And I'm going to eat the carrots and peas, but every once in a while, I'm going to treat myself. See the psychology here? So if you think that I'm going to treat myself, you've completely fallen into this trap of, oh, it's really hard to eat carrots and peas, and it's really easy and a treat and a holiday and fun and games to have my whatever processed food that you want. You see what I'm saying? So don't say the word treat. Don't say the word treat. Say, I'm going to punish myself here because I like to taste it, but don't say treat. It isn't a treat. Don't think of it that way. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, AJ's like waving us down, but I'm thinking as you're going through and the opening up, all I see is the greasy paper, and then it's not really paper. It's got this chemical coating on it, and that's getting into the food as well. And you lift it up, and it does not look like the picture.
And that's another thing. That's a good point. If you ever see a restaurant with pictures of food, immediately that's a problem, because food should not be uniform. Food should not. If food is uniform, that means it's contrived somehow, because food is not uniform. Food is individual. Real food is going to be unique. Every burger is going to be unique. You ever make a burger at home? They don't all look the same. So if you see pictures at the Chinese restaurant or at the fast food restaurant where they have the exact way the rice and the egg rolls or whatever it is look, that's a fraud. There's no food does not look like food should not look uniform, is my point. If it's looking uniform, then you're being hoodwinked. So be very careful. These are clues to problems with food. Because if you have food that all looks the same, that means it's coming from the same place. You don't want food that's coming from the same place. You don't want food coming from a central warehouse somewhere.
All right. Well, you know, they do get, when they're rolling their egg rolls inside the restaurant, they do get pretty good at it.
The egg rolls?
But yeah,
spring rolls,
hot stickers. I like the fresh spring rolls.
The spring rolls are a little bit different.
The rice paper.
Yeah, the rice paper. Right, the rice paper and sprouts, some shrimp. Yeah, there's ways. And in fact, Asian food tends to be a little bit healthier. If you're going to do fast food, Asian food tends to be a little bit healthier than the kind of fast food we eat. It's the fried stuff, the cooked stuff, the processed stuff. The beautiful thing about the spring rolls you're talking about is they're not really cooked, except for the shrimp maybe is probably cooked. But if you have vegetables, they're not cooked. Anyway, let's do some questions here.
Yeah. Well, AJ first.
I think I want to know, can you see the people? I had a couple of people I invited. Is Monique on the call? Do you see Monique?
Monique is here.
Hi, Monique.
Monique
works with me at Truth. Is that my Monique?
Yes, it's me.
Hi, Monique. Monique works with me at Truth. She's an esthetician, and she helps me sell Truth. And I was telling her, you know, estheticians are, I don't know if there's any estheticians on the call, but estheticians are perfect for using longevity products. So I gave Monique some longevity products, and she's like, hey, let's get these to some estheticians and let's start promoting them. So I told Monique to get on the call. Monique's going to be regular. You want to show your pretty face there, Monique?
I wish I could. I can't turn my camera on.
Hold on.
Okay. All right. Everybody's got technical problems. Is Brandy on the call?
We do have a Brandy.
Hi, Monique.
There's Monique.
There's Monique. Is Brandy here?
Brandy
had a question. I told her to come on the call.
Brandy?
Hello, how are you?
Brandy with a B. Is that Brandy with a B?
Yes.
Hi, Brandy.
Yes. Hi, how are you guys?
Hang on a quick second, Brandy. Did you want to ask any questions, Monique? Anything you want to say?
No, you know, I don't have any questions right off the top of my head, but I was just thinking as you were talking about how many dermatologists and estheticians still tell their clients that food and diet has no impact on the skin.
Are they still saying that?
They're still saying that.
What is up with these people?
I know.
We're gonna change them. Thank you so much, Monique. Thanks for getting everything.
Invite.
For understanding. You'll be regular, right, Monique?
Regular?
You're gonna be a regular here.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, good deal. All right, nice
Thank
to see
you.
you.
Welcome, Monique.
Yes,
Thank
welcome.
you.
Welcome.
And then
Yes.
Brandy Brandy texted me and I said, Brandy, why don't you ask on the Zoom call? 'Cause it's a good question. I thought it was a really good question. Brandy, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am. Yes, so I
Ask,
was asking about, I had actually sent you a picture of it. Ben, it's just the injectables that everybody's talking about, the fountain of youth and all that.
what's it called?
I'm looking
mean,
through our text on,
It's called, okay, I know what it's called. I just wanted
Okay.
you to say. It's called NAD
yes.
and NADH. Okay, so NAD, NADH, the N stands for niacin. Vitamin B3. Hi, Brandy. The N
Hi.
stands for niacin or derivative, nicotinamide sometimes. And so what you're getting is a derivative of niacin. You've heard of niacin, right? Vitamin B3.
Mhm.
Vitamin B3 is arguably, it's hard to state this for sure, but a case could be made that it's the most important vitamin. Why? For a couple of reasons. First of all, niacin is the one vitamin you'll make. Most vitamins you can't make. That's the definition of a vitamin. You can't make it. But niacin is so important your body will make it. And one of the reasons it's so important is that because it's a carrier for energy. And in those little things we talked about earlier, those little mitochondria, energy gets turned, or electrical energy gets turned into chemical energy. Body runs on chemical energy.
Mhm.
Electrical energy comes from food. The body can convert food into electrical energy. That electrical energy then gets converted into chemical energy in the mitochondria, and it's NAD that carries that energy so it can be converted. It's a
Mhm.
ferry or a shuttle. And so the thinking is that if we give you more shuttles, more ferries, you'll be able to make more chemical energy. Does that make sense? If you have like a little piece of
Mhm.
electricity, and in order for that electricity to get converted to chemical energy, you need a carrier. The thinking is the more carriers you have, the more chemical energy you make. The problem with that thought process is if you have enough carriers, using that NAD is not going to make a difference. You have enough carriers. There's only a certain amount of carrying that can happen. You can't put more carriers and expect more to happen. However, if you're deficient in those carriers, you might be able to make a difference. And so because of deficiencies, there are people who are getting some results. But the answer is not to give yourself the carriers, but to give yourself the micronutrients that get turned into the carriers. Because then the body can decide what to do. It can decide, I want to make some carriers, because niacin doesn't just make carriers, it makes a lot of things. It makes brain chemicals. It's important for sugar, blood sugar control, and it's important for the blood of the heart. So there's a lot of things niacin is important for. So if you give yourself the niacin, the vitamin B3, your body will decide, hey, let's make some carriers here. Let's make some hormones here. Let's control some sugar here. Let's do some other things. Let's burn fat here. There's a lot of things that niacin can do. So it's much more about marketing than anything else. But if you're deficient, you may notice some results. Now, NAD itself needs to be injected. You're not going to really get benefits orally, but there is another version, if you will, called NMN, which does have some benefits if you take it orally. But again, you're not going to get the niacin benefits. You're just going to get the carrier benefits. If you take the niacin, you'll get everything else. And niacin is an incredibly important nutrient for the skin, for the digestive system, and for the brain. In fact, Alzheimer's and cognitive issues can be caused by niacin deficiency. So can chronic gut problems and diarrhea, and so can skin rashes, unexplained skin rashes, and skin conditions. And in fact, as skin people are learning more and more, one of the most important places for niacin is for skin health. And I use it in topical products in my truth treatments. Okay? Did I explain that okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Nice to see you. Happy
Thanks.
holidays.
You too.
Okay, bye.
So thank you so much. Well, Pharmacist Ben.
Yes, ma'am.
Now AJ wants to ask a question.
AJ, raise your hand, please. Raise your hand.
He has it up.
I see, but I want to see. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can I go to the bathroom? So,
Yes.
So, Pharmacist Ben,
Yeah.
a couple of things, and I'm just going to be brief because we're running out of time.
As always.
Just back to the beginning
Yeah.
of the show.
Yeah.
We have speed limits.
Yeah. To what?
To protect people.
Yeah. Okay.
We have crossing lights. So it says don't walk.
Yeah.
Walk.
Okay.
We do things in society to protect people.
Yeah.
And you have these big corporations who are, as you mentioned, put things in the food to tinker with our
cravings, our desire to eat them and to purchase them, etc.
And the lawsuit by San Francisco is designed in some way to protect people. So
I'm a capitalist. I say let people protect themselves, laissez-faire, the government do what it,
So no stop signs, no crossing lights.
Let the government put stop signs up. I was about to say. Their job is to put stop signs up, build the highways, not to tell us what to eat, not to control the food supply.
Okay, but so they shouldn't protect us
from our foods, from ourselves. We don't need to be protected from ourselves. I don't think. I don't want to be. That's a slippery slope. Hang on a second. And some countries don't have speed limits, and I'm not sure about why there should be a speed limit. Okay, maybe in the cities or something, but on highways, you don't really need a speed limit. You should be intelligent enough to know when to speed and when not to speed, right? If you have an open stretch of highway, what's the point of going 65 miles an hour if nobody's near you, right? So I have a problem with speed limits too, but that's another issue. The point I'm making here about foods is there's a price to be paid for what we're eating if we don't eat correctly. That's enough. That should be enough of a disincentive. Your heart disease should be enough of a disincentive. To have the government involved in telling us what to eat and not eat, it's just a slippery slope. I don't like to have the government tell me what to do, as I've said many times. We want to be our own authorities. I don't want to be anybody's authority. I want you to be your own authority. And our whole mission here is to let everybody be their own health authorities. I don't want the government being my authority. We have a tendency to abdicate responsibilities, what I'm saying. Oh, the government will take care of me. The doctor will take care of me. The pills will take care of me. The surgery will take care. I'll do whatever I want to do, but I have a pill to take care of. That's where you run into problems, the way I look at it.
I'm with you, but I just think that I think that there is a cloaking of the truth, and well,
the FDA mandates. I think it's the FDA or the FTC, maybe FDA or FTC. One of them mandates that you have to have an ingredient deck on your food and on your skincare products. Read the ingredient deck. If you have an ingredient deck with 80 different ingredients in it, you don't want to be putting that on your skin, and you don't want to be putting it on in your body either. How many ingredients are in a carrot? Do you ever see an ingredient deck on a piece of broccoli? And by the way, do you ever see a commercial for broccoli? Do you ever see a little cartoon character for broccoli? Little Billy Broccoli? No, you never see that. But you see it for Captain Crunch, and you see it for M&Ms, and you see it for Rice Krispies. They don't market broccoli. So, I don't want to be, I feel uncomfortable telling people what to eat. That's personally my thing.
Understood. So one quick question. We know that that you like ALA. What about our ALA?
So ALA, there's two different, ALA refers to two different things. There's alpha linolenic acid, ALA, which is omega-3, alpha linolenic acid. And then there's alpha lipoic acid. And that's an incredibly valuable and expensive and somewhat unstable antioxidant and mitochondrial energizer. Remember we were talking about the mitochondria and how niacin carries electrical energy in the mitochondria in the form of NAD and NADH in order to convert that electricity into chemical energy, right? That's really what the body is doing. That's why we eat. The body's main purpose is to create energy, chemical energy, not purpose, but the main job is to create chemical energy from electrical energy. And it happens in the mitochondria. Now you're already starting the last couple of years, but more and more you're going to hear about the mitochondria as the key to everything. And they are, because that's where energy is made. And there's a lot of substances that don't get recognized as such that support the mitochondria. ALA or alpha lipoic acid is one of them. Melatonin is another substance, believe it or not, that supports the mitochondria. Vitamin A supports the mitochondria. Vitamin C supports the mitochondria. And plant-derived minerals support the mitochondria. Nobody talks about that either. So all of these are ways that you can support the mitochondria, including ALA. ALA clinically can be helpful for people dealing with blood sugar problems because of this whole mitochondrial issue, and also neuropathies, and also chronic pain, not just neuropathic pain, but chronic pain. ALA has been used to treat chronic pain. And in fact, if I'm remembering correctly, certain cancers even for ALA, particularly, I think it was pancreatic cancer that I read. I better read up on that. I
Is
think
there
it
a
was
thing
ALA.
called RALA?
Okay, now R,
Then you talk about the left and right.
yes, that's called chirality. Chirality refers to handedness, right? There are molecules that look like a left hand and molecules that look like a right hand, but they're the same molecule. So is my left hand look like my right hand? Like this?
If you go like this.
No, not like that. Like this. They look the same, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
That's R, and some people will say L, right and left. Sometimes you'll hear S and D. S for left, sinistre, and D for dextero. I mean, that's the Latin term. But either way, it's left and right. But they're the same. They're the same, but they're different. Now, that's a little bit hard to get your mind around, but if you think of gloves, right, you can't put your left-hand glove on your right hand. They're the same glove, and if you just look at the glove, you can't really tell until you put it on. And then you'll say, oh, that's the wrong glove. But they're the same glove, but they just look different. That we call it mirror images. Okay, the idea of mirror images, left and right, is referred to in chemistry as chirality. A chiral molecule is a molecule that's either left or right, or sinistre, S and D. Sometimes you'll see S and D, sometimes you'll see L and R, but they're the same idea. Certain nutrients, for example, let's just take vitamin D. You'll see L ascorbic acid, right? You've heard that term probably, L ascorbic acid. You'll never see R ascorbic acid. You'll never see D ascorbic acid. It's always L. Why is it always L? Because the receptor and the chemicals that handle vitamin C in the body, they can't work with the right hand. They can only work with the left hand. And there are molecules in the body, or molecules in biology, that can only interact with cells and enzymes and various other molecules, either as a left hand or as a right hand. Amino acids tend to be D or right hand. Vitamins tend to be left, but it varies a little bit. The point is no company is going to sell you D ascorbic acid. It doesn't even exist. It probably exists, but they're not going to sell it because you can't use it. And sometimes you'll see L and D together. They call that a racemic, R-A-C-E-M-I-C, racemic mixture. And those are typically going to be cheaper. They're not as effective because half of them is the wrong glove. So if you get a racemic vitamin E, for example, half of it you can't use. Half of that stuff, the vitamin E in the bottle, is the wrong glove. It's the wrong hand. So for the most part, you're only going to see the correct hand, the correct glove of a form. So RALA is right or dextro alpha lipoic acid, and I'm pretty sure that's the correct form. You're not going to see LALA or SLALA. Does that make sense?
Yes,
It's
sir.
only going to be the right hand or the left hand. And don't be fooled by that term. There's a skincare company out there, and skincare companies are so deceitful. They say their molecules are chirally correct. They came up with this term, chirally correct, which is basically like saying our pen's right. Buy our pens because they write. They have ink in them. Well, of course, all pens have ink in them, and all molecules are chirally correct. So don't be fooled by the whole thing, the chirality thing. Basically, all it means is some molecules have the right shape and some have the wrong shape, like a glove.
You the man. Well, I see you Monday at 9.
Monday at 9. Can't wait.
All right, let's go to the next question. And Brenda Teresa, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yes, I had a dentist. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
had a dentist appointment on December 10th to have 3 cavities drilled out.
Okay.
And once I got there, I didn't want the silver because that's one poison, right? So I said white composite only. But then I said, is there fluoride in that white composite substance? And they had to look it up. They didn't know. And they did look it up. And yes, there is. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
Not
So
great.
Yeah, so I had no choice because I don't want to lose the teeth that I have. So I'm
True.
trying to save them. And I did see your article on Critical Health News about fluoride and vitamin C that may help to chelate it.
Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
chelate. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's
sent
right.
it to the dentist too, by the way, to let
And
them tell their
absolutely.
patients also. And
Yes.
so right now I'm using coconut water. I can only afford 1 bottle of minerals every month. So I use 1
It's
tablespoon
awesome.
in the
Minerals are
morning
awesome.
to swish around and at night.
Good for you.
And
Good for
and
you.
then I'm switching to pure coconut water, a different brand, because I don't think it has water. Because this one, Goya, I don't know if they're using fluoridated water as part of the to dilute
They
it.
usually are. They
Oh,
usually
yeah.
are. Yeah, they usually
So
are.
so I wonder if what else I can
Vitamin
do.
C, selenium,
Okay. Yep.
MSM sulfur, all the plant-derived
Yep.
minerals,
Okay.
N-acetylcysteine.
Okay. If I could
Uh,
afford it.
yeah, it's a little pricey.
Yep.
Yeah, anything, zinc, anything that has a magnetic ability to track fluoride is going to be helpful.
And the Beyond Osteo also
Yeah,
is
Beyond Osteo.
okay.
Yeah, Beyond Osteo will help.
That's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
fiber will help. Plant either from vegetables and
Yeah.
fruits or just straight fiber that can help. So yeah, and probiotics can also help.
Okay, but I'm limited, so I can only afford so much.
You know what? I was talking to my friend. I think Jill's on the call. I think I saw her earlier. Hi, Jill. You know, she's in Canada. Jill's in Canada, and everything's much more expensive in Canada. And so they have a problem sometimes with some of the longevity products. And I was telling Jill, we have a $39 product that is incredible and that we don't really talk about. And that is the plant-derived minerals. Not the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, but just the plant-derived minerals. Those plant-derived minerals.
Yeah, it's $23.95 here in States.
And they're inexpensive. So anybody out there who wants to enter into the world of nutritional supplementation, but feels like, oh, it's too expensive, I would say first and foremost, just get the Healthy Start Pack. Okay, that's too expensive. I can't do that. All right, then just get Beyond Tangy Tangerine. It's too expensive. I can't.
It is.
Then just get the plant-derived minerals. You'll get a heck of a lot of health benefits from the plant-derived minerals, including chelation, and it's only $24. It's crazy cheap.
Okay, I will try to fit more bottles in. I was going to get 2 bottles of the Beyond, or 2 canisters of Beyond Osteo-fx, but probably getting extra minerals is more important.
The minerals are incredibly valuable. Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate your help.
Thank you.
And thank you for that article too. And
awesome.
After I got home from the dentist, I seen it in the Critical Health email. I couldn't believe it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. Yep. It really helped out. So
good deal. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Brenda Teresa. Great question. And Phyllis, what question are you bringing today? We've got lots of questions today, Pharmacist.
Yeah. What's going on, Phil?
Pharmacist Ben, we've got a loyal viewer on YouTube. Her name is Olga, and she's she's good for some great questions. So she has 2.
Yes.
And the first one, I think it could apply to any plant-based milk, but she asks, can flax milk be already rancid when we purchase it?
Absolutely. 100%. And that's the problem. That's the problem with these kinds of products when they process them. How do you think about all the processing to make turn flax seeds into milk? You've got to press them really hard to extract the oils out of them, and then you've got to emulsify them so they blend in with the water. And the emulsification process involves crushing, homogenizing, and all of that from the extraction of the oil from the flax to the processing of the or emulsification of the oil with the water. All of that will damage the oils, absolutely, and it could already be starting to be distorted. Absolutely, that's the case.
Good to know, and a reason to do it yourself, right?
Absolute reason to do it yourself. That is true. Or to use coconut. Coconut doesn't go rancid.
Oh, that is good to know.
Yeah, coconut, the coconut milk. Just coconut, and they make it the same way, but nuts tend to be very rich in oil that's unstable. Coconut oils are much more stable than nut oils. Coconut oils tend to be in the medium range, that you call medium chain triglycerides. The oils in the in the nuts are in the long range, long triglycerides, and those long ones are the ones that are so prone towards oxidation and breakdown. The shorter ones, I don't want to get into too much chemistry, but the shorter ones tend to be more stable, less likely to break down.
Okay, her second question.
And by the way, let me just say this real quick. you're going to start to hear more, and we've been talking about it for years here on this program, and I've been talking about it for years when I do my presentations, but you're going to start to hear more about a very short chain fat called butyric acid or butyrate, which is unbelievably valuable and almost as underappreciated as it is valuable for the gut, for the brain, for the heart and the vascular system, for energy. It's just a super, super valuable, and it is made by gut bacteria if you have the right gut bacteria, or you can supplement with it, or you can also get it from butter. That's a short chain fatty acid. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'll be on the lookout for that one.
You'll hear more about it in the future. Yes.
And her second question, and she asks, what do you think about a formula containing, okay, get ready, methylsulfonyl
methane
plus trimethylglycine plus R-alpha lipoic acid and a mix of cruciferous vegetables.
Okay. Okay. So methyl methylsulfonyl methane, MSM.
Easy for you to say.
Methylsulfonyl methane is MSM, and it's a very absorbable form of sulfur. You've heard of, everybody's heard of MSM. Okay, it's an absorbable, non-toxic form of sulfur. And I was going to talk about sulfur today. I forgot about that. Sulfur is not only really, really important for a lot of reasons, but it also tends to be deficient in the standard American diet because of soil depletion. So as important as sulfur is, it's also, most people are deficient in it, or a lot of people are deficient in it, meaning supplementation with MSM is a great strategy. Also, the FucoidZ is another great way to get some good sulfur, and sulfur is very important for detox. This sounds like a detox formula, by the way. Cruciferous vegetables also important for detox. And then what was the second thing you said? I forgot what you said the second thing.
Trimethylglycine.
Right, trimethylglycine is a fascinating, one of my favorite molecules. The other name for trimethylglycine is betaine. Trimethylglycine is betaine. Betaine is a colloquial term. Trimethylglycine is literally what it is. Very, very important ingredient for helping for the detoxification process. Glycine is part of detoxification. Glycine is also part of the collagen building. It's a component of collagen. And the methyls, trimethyl means 3 methyls. The methyls are important methylating agents for people who either have MTHFR issues or for detox. Methylation is also a detox process. Cruciferous vegetables. What was the third thing you said? I forgot what the third thing was.
Well, you've got your R-alpha lipoic acid.
Okay, alpha lipoic acid. That's probably also for detox. It sounds like it sounds like a detox formula. If I had to guess what that was, because all of those, is that what it is?
I don't know.
Okay.
And that
it's
would
include, it's a nice formula. There's nothing
the cruciferous vegetables.
The cruciferous vegetables that's also detoxifying, and it sounds to me like that's a female hormone detoxification. All those ingredients are important for detoxifying estrogen. So I'm guessing that's an estrogen detox supplement. That's what it sounds like to me.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
And I'll go back to you, Becca. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Phyllis. Nice to see you.
All right, thank you. So, before you get your next question, got a couple questions here. So Happy is wanting to know, she's got a 6-year-old that has a cavity. Doctor wants to do a root canal. What are your thoughts on a root canal?
I can't tell you whether he needs it or not. Only the dentist is going to know that, but you got to be really careful. Really, really careful. When you do a root canal, you introduce bacteria into the circulatory system, and there's a lot of literature that is suggesting that heart disease and cardiovascular health issues may be related to bacteria that enter into the bloodstream through the gums, through the mouth. You got to be careful with root canals. You may need it. I don't know. I don't know enough about the patient or what the dentist is seeing, but just you got to be really careful with that. If for 6-year-olds to need a root canal, though, that seems pretty extreme.
That's sad. Nutritional deficiencies.
What's that?
They're not getting the nutrition they need in order to keep teeth or the brushing possibly, or too much sugar. So Jerry and Anna want to know, and you may or may not know the answer to this, is organic saffron rice okay if it has healthy ingredients?
You mean because it's rice?
So saffron's
a type of rice. Saffron's it's a yellow plant, yellow herb, I guess, and saffron rice. I think, I don't know really enough about it to say for sure, but I think it's rice that's prepared with saffron. I don't know if it's a type of rice. I might be wrong. I think it's a rice that's prepared with saffron. Is that right? It's yellow rice.
Well,
I don't know
it
if it's a
makes it
type of
yellow
rice. Yeah, I don't know if it's a type of rice or if it's rice that's prepared with saffron. So I don't know enough about that. Rice is not a great food, but there's worse things than rice. Okay. And by the way, Mitch Hedberg, you know what Mitch Hedberg is? He's this comedian.
No.
You never heard of Mitch Hedberg? He says,
Mm-mm.
rice is great if you're really hungry and you want 2,000 of something.
Oh, there you go. Yes, 2,000 of something, whether it's calories or grains. So
Yeah.
saffron is actually the stigma that comes out of the crocus flower.
Yeah, and then the rice
And then
is
it's added
prepared.
to rice.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but saffron itself is a great herb, has many benefits. Do you have a hard
Yes.
stop?
No, I can take a couple more.
Oh, good. Because we got AJ and then we've got one more coming from Jay.
Yes, Mr. AJ.
So Jeff has a 27-year-old son who's diagnosed with SAMDL9 ataxia pantotheliomia.
Wait a minute, say that says SAMD9?
SAMDL9.
Yeah.
Ataxia.
Ataxia? Did you say ataxia?
Yep.
Okay.
Pancytopenia syndrome.
Okay. So
he was at St. Jude's, low platelets.
Okay.
MRI.
Okay. So we were always making fun of these names, right? So let's make fun of this one, okay?
Well, I mean, don't make fun of it until we make t-shirts.
Okay. So we're gonna make fun of the name. So SAMD9 is a gene. Genes make things, make proteins. When the SAMD9 gene, which makes proteins, is mutated, it's disturbed, there are several things that can happen. One is ataxia. Taxia, what do you think of when you think of a taxi? Ataxia.
Something to transport something from one point
Correct.
to another.
Correct. Ataxia, when you put A in front of a word, that means you don't have it. Taxia means to move. Ataxia is a movement disorder. You can't move. You're uncoordinated. You can't walk correctly when you have ataxia. Ataxia just means you can't taxi. You can't move. Make sense?
Okay.
Ataxia is a lack of coordination, a lack of move, an inability to move, to organize your limbs correctly to move. Pancytopenia, three parts to it, 3 syllables. Pan, or 3 parts. Cytopenia. Penia means little. Okay? Like thrombocytopenia, not enough. You don't have a lot of them. Cyto means cells. Pan means everywhere. Pancytopenia refers to low blood cell counts. Okay? So you've got a genetic disorder that's leading to problems with coordination and problems with producing cells. It's a syndrome which tells you that this one cause is going to have a lot of symptoms. That's what a syndrome is, like metabolic syndrome, leaky gut syndrome. Whenever you hear syndrome, that means you have a lot of problems associated with one cause. So you have this genetic mutation that's causing problems movement, ataxia, problems producing cells, pancytopenia, and it's a syndrome. So there's a lot of other things that happen. So somebody who has this kind of condition, who has this mutation, is going to have issues, neurological issues, walking problems, problems with their eyesight, possibly problems with their joints, joint pain. They may end up with cancers. It's a big problem. It's a serious problem because it's a very fundamental gene that's mutated. The question is how old is this person, by the way?
27.
Kid? Okay. Was they said, did he have it all of a sudden, or is it congenital and he's been
since birth?
Since birth, right. Okay. So Dr. Wallach's very famous for saying there's no genetic diseases, right? Say again?
No genetically transmitted diseases.
No genetically transmitted diseases, right? Correct. But there are diseases that you can be born with where where you have these mutations at birth, and they can lead to big mess because the genes make things. And that's the real deal. Obviously, this guy has this problem, what this is. So once that gene is mutated, you're going to have a problem. And it's very difficult to deal with. The trick is for the mother, and this is why it's so important for the mother in the womb to, when they're growing the baby, to make sure that the baby in the womb has everything the baby needs, because these mutations can occur secondary to either toxicity or basic triad: toxicity, hypoxia, and malnourishment. The only three things that go wrong: lack of oxygen, toxicity, and lack of nutrition, malnourishment, right? So once that happens, then this guy's going to have some problems. So what he can do is he can do what I have to do, what you have to do, what everybody has to do, but with more concentration and vigilance. We all have to stay away from processed food. He has to do it with much more intention and much more vigilance. The window for him is much narrower. For you and me, it's a little bit bigger. For him, it's much narrower. So he has to have much closer to zero tolerance for inflammatory foods, for example, for junk foods, for example. He has a much narrow tolerance for malnourishment, so he has to make absolutely sure he's supplementing, particularly with these electrical supplements, the fats and the electrolytes, things that will build the membrane. So for a guy like that, he's got the mutation, he was born this way, but he can make extra sure that he's controlling what he can control, locus of control. And that means the foods and the supplements and oxygenation and exercise, and there's a lot he can do. I don't know how deteriorated he is, but he's young. And so I would be doing exactly what I tell everybody else to do, but with much more vigilance and concentration and intention.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right, you want to do one more?
Yep, we're going to do one more, and I'm going to see if Jay can unmute. Can you unmute, Jay? So his question is 61-year-old athletic man, 182 pounds, 6'4" tall, with bradycardia and AFib. Doctor concerned SA node may be pausing too long, so I have to be put on a blood thinner. What can be done to stabilize heart rate, reduce heartbeat? And lastly, what changes can be done to reduce AFib events?
Okay, so AFib is a very common complaint. Bradycardia means his heart's not beating fast enough. Tachycardia means his heart's beating too fast. Both bradycardia and tachycardia have the same cause. And atrial fibrillation, I love that term, fibrillation, because it sounds exactly like what it is. When the heart beats, it beats like this: boom, 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 boom. And it happens powerfully, and it happens cleanly. But when it fibrillates, it beats like this: instead of boom. So you can imagine if you need a heartbeat that goes boom in order to propel the blood through the circulatory system, you can imagine if it's going, it's not going to propel. And that's going to lead to circulatory issues. That's going to lead to oxygenation issues of the tissue, accumulation of toxicity. It'll cause clumps to appear. And this is the most important problem. Doctors are afraid of strokes. Atrial fibrillation leads to strokes. Bradycardia, slow down the heart, also the same thing. So what's going on here? What's causing all these problems? What would cause the heart, which is just made up of a bunch of cells, what would cause the heart to beat like this instead of boom? What would cause the heart to not beat as fast as it should? Slow down, bradycardia. What would cause that? What causes any system in the body to not be as effective as it could be?
Dirty blood.
Exactly. What is the dirty blood? What that's the cause, but what is the dirty blood? What is the effect of the dirty blood on the heart?
It's not getting oxygen to it.
It's not getting oxygen. It's not getting nutrition. It's starving. But AJ said the answer. It's dirty blood. If you have a liver problem, what's the cause? Dirty blood. If you have a cognitive issue, what's the cause? Dirty blood. If you have an autoimmune issue, what's the cause? Dirty blood. If you have a skin problem, what's the cause? Dirty blood. This idea that we go to a cardiologist and a dermatologist and a neurologist and a OBGYN and this doctor and that doctor, the specialists. It's idiotic. The paradigm, it comes from a time when we didn't understand that how the body works. It's all about the blood. If you want to go to a doctor, go to a rheumatologist who's a blood doctor. It's all about the blood. So then the question becomes, okay, what goes wrong with the blood? How does the blood become dirty? Leaky gut. That's the cause of everything. Excess sugar, lack of oxygen, a sedentary lifestyle. So for AFib, you do not treat it like AFib. For bradycardia, you do not treat it like bradycardia. You don't treat just the heart, you treat the system. And that means digestive health. This guy's not on the call, I imagine, but whoever his downline, or whoever is he, ask him about his digestive issues.
I have an appointment with him.
Work with his digestive health. Work with his leaky gut. Clean the blood. Use nutrients that support the circulatory system, vasodilating nutrients, niacin, thiamine, the B complex, electrolytes, your ultimate EFAs, healthy brain and heart pack, and all the digestive support. And more than likely, if he's 70, I think you said he's 70 years old, right? Almost guaranteed.
61.
61, okay. Almost guaranteed he's got some dysglycemia, some disturbances in blood sugar too. So, you know, we want to get away from looking at all the separate parts of the body and seeing it as a system. And when you see it as a system, then you'll see that the one connecting point to all the parts of the body, the one road that links all the organs and glands and tissues together, is the blood. All disease is cell disease, and all cell disease is preceded by dirty blood. It's all about the blood. Okay? And if you want a quick strategy, the supplements are definitely important, but a quick strategy, and also patching up the leaky gut, oxygen, slow, deep breathing. Anybody with AFib should be practicing slow, deep breathing. In fact, everybody should be doing breathing exercises. It's the fastest way to hack into your neurology is the breath. The breath is the portal into our neurology. Our neurology controls everything. So you can control everything in the body through the breath.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pharmacist Ben.
Thank you, everybody.
AJ.
Pharmacist Ben, since you're talking about the heart, how do you bring up the ejection fraction?
How do you bring it up? Ejection fraction is the amount of blood that gets ejected every time the heart beats. If you have a valve problem, or if you have a cardiomyopathy issue or heart failure, your ejection fraction drops. You don't have as much blood going out. Also, sticky blood, dirty blood will slow down the amount of blood that's ejected. And so ejection fraction is really a metric, a secondary metric that assesses how much blood, how effective the heart is at pumping the blood, and how effective the blood is at how fluid the blood is, how effectively it's moving.
Yeah, it's because they want them on Zarxio, a drug to treat neutropenia.
Yeah, well, what's neutropenia based on what we just said? Neutrophils, a low. No, he's not. He doesn't have enough white blood cells. He's not making enough neutrophils. Neutropenia. Penia means not enough, less. So, yeah, when you have AFib, you're going to have a lower ejection fraction because the heart's not beating strong.
All right.
Well, you know, you're just a wealth of knowledge, Pharmacist Ben.
All right.
Thrilled to have you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. See ya on Monday.
Thank you, Pharmacist Ben, for helping us educate. Because that's the biggest problem in society is the lack of education on what the food industry is doing to our food. And no, we don't want a government telling us what we can and can't do, but the government is allowing these things to be put on the market. So let's get educated about what is available to put in this pie hole so that we can make wiser decisions, folks. There's so many things that I had questions on, like, oh, we could do a show on this. Oh, we could do a whole show on that. So many things came out of this, and I really hope you are tuning in, subscribe to our channels, make sure that you're following us, give us a thumbs up, and comment where you are joining us from. Folks, this program is being sponsored by dailywithdoc.com. If you were referred to this program by somebody specific, we don't allow any type of advertising in the chat, self-promotion. But if you were invited by somebody specific, that is the person that you are to get back with. Now, if you found this program on your own and you want to get connected with a certified holistic health coach, please email us at questions@dailywithdoc.com. Again, that's questions@dailywithdoc.com. If you had questions that we did not get to today, that is the same email address that you can email us at, and we will get information to you, whether we're getting your question answered on the show or we already have the answer and we send it right to you. That's where you need to reach out if you are not working with somebody currently. Otherwise, they're your first point of contact. Get back with them. They cared enough about you, care enough about them to say, thank you. What else can I do? So folks, my name is Becca Dukes. As a certified holistic health coach, certified naturopathic practitioner, it is my honor and privilege to be able to be part of a solution in educating people on the importance of nutrition. I want to do a thank you and a shout out to my team that I have on with us today. We have Phyllis, who has been in this whole realm of teaching nutrition right alongside with Dr. Wallach, getting him on the air. She and her husband both very instrumental in getting his show, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, syndicated. So thank you so much for continuing on and helping us to support getting that message out, Phyllis. I know Andy's there in the background somewhere. And Marilyn, thank you for bringing your talents. As Phyllis and Marilyn are both, they're tag teaming today, getting the information put into the chat. So if you're here live with us, you can see that chat, get information, do screenshots of it. We don't allow it to be downloaded or saved, but you can do screenshots of the chat, and it's only available live here with us Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, unless something comes up where we're not able to have a guest. 1 or 12 to 1 Pacific, 1 to 2 Mountain, 2 to 3 Eastern, no, Central, 3 to 4 Eastern. I've said this, how many times now? More than 400 times on the air, and I just now get it wrong. What's up with that? Well, folks, I'd also want to do a shout out and a thank you to Mary, as she is helping us, and a newer member of our team. Thank you so much, Mary, and she's part of the Zoom team as well, bringing in questions. We've got Albert joining us from South Africa, and if you call the call team, 855-949-3377 in the middle of the United States night, chances are you might get Albert if AJ doesn't beat him to it. So thank you so much, Albert, for being on and helping let people in, and AJ, who's been very instrumental in helping us get out on all these different platforms and pushing me to do more. And he doesn't let me get away with not doing a day off. So thank you so much, AJ, for all that you do. And folks, thank you for taking the time, investing this hour plus in your own health and wellness. Nobody's going to do it for you. You might as well be empowered, create a better health journey. And yes, U-turns are allowed. Until next time, bye for now. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We're honored to continue and share the teachings of the founding father of science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We're honored to continue and share the teachings of the founding father of science of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach.